Hey guys, Devin Moreno here again with my Investing Journey channel, and here I got another investor in Baltimore City, Tyler Dalton. So he's actually a young investor who's been doing this about as long as I have. He's actually been growing and actually, conveniently enough, found a lot of similar mentors that I did. And he ended up renovating this house. He ended up using the BRRRR strategy on this one, right?
Yep, BRRRR strategy.
All right, perfect. If you guys don't know what that is, we'll definitely get into it. But he's gonna go ahead and take us on a tour on what he did to this property to renovate it and get it up to speed. I believe you took, what, a month on this?
It took a month, yeah. Renovations took about 2 weeks, but the start and finish about a month.
All right, so he did that a little faster than I did my last one. So, which is actually awesome. So go ahead and show us what you've done around here. Take you guys with us.
So as Devin said, this is my very first rental property, first experience with the BRRRR strategy, dealing with contractors and everything. So we bought the property almost a month ago. It took a little bit longer to work through the contractors and all those issues. So once we finally got a contractor locked in place, that process actually took about 2 weeks. So as you'll see here, this is in the foyer area. We have pretty much ripped out the entire place, and we have replaced all of the floors in here with a supposed tenant-proof, waterproof, industrial vinyl floor. It's a faux wood, but our friend and mentor, Austin Carroll, he recommended this floor actually. It's a little more expensive than the one that I wanted to go with, but he highly recommended it, said it was a really good tenant-proof and waterproof floor. Before, there was a really gross vinyl down here, and all throughout the stairs and all throughout the upstairs was a really gross, dirty carpet. So we ripped all of that out and replaced it with this floor all throughout, just to make it seamless, make it very simple, and also, again, it is hopefully waterproof, so that's gonna prevent any issues as far as smells and stains. And again, with tenant turnover, that's our goal here, is to reduce the money that we're spending between each tenant. So in here, in all the walls, we painted a nice white color. I don't know the specific white color, but we can definitely include that. There was a gross stale yellow color all throughout here as well. And the wall that is behind here, we actually added a half bath into the property. So this was something that we weren't really anticipating to begin with, but after looking at the comps, after talking with our contractor, we thought that the benefit of adding this would add so much to the property, help it rent a little bit quicker, and ultimately, hopefully, get the value of the property a little bit higher when we go to reappraise it here in the next few weeks with a local bank. So we did that kind of spur of the moment, so there's definitely something that we didn't anticipate in the budget, so it's gonna be an added expense out of pocket. We can kind of talk about the expenses later on in this video, but I really think this turned out pretty well. It's a nice little small half bath, just basic toilet vanity in here. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy, but it really gets the job done. And in a property that is a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, we can assume that there will be a number of people in this property. So we really wanted to try to provide ample restroom space for those tenants that are going to be in this property. So again, here, this is the dining room. All we did in here was repaint. We kept all of the same baseboards in here. We painted all the baseboards. We did put quarter round here in as well, because that was all ripped out when the floors were replaced. We haven't done the windows yet. That's something we're actually waiting on. They're supposed to be done tomorrow. That keeps getting pushed back. But as you can see, the windows are held up by this nice cinnamon powder here. So that's not gonna pass code. That's not gonna pass rental inspection. So, you know, we had to upgrade that. And again, that was one thing I didn't anticipate. The expense when we purchased this property was actually replacing the majority of these windows. So even though Devin hooked me up with a great window guy at a great price, that was still a cost that I did not anticipate. So that's something, again, those costs continue to add up. And so I remember in the beginning video, Devin and I talked about our initial price we thought the reno was going to cost, and it pretty much cost significantly more than that. But that is to be expected with the first property. So we'll go on in here into the kitchen. What we did here was, again, nothing crazy, nothing fancy. We did replace all of the countertops. We went a little a little fancier than I anticipated, a little fancier than some might recommend. We did put in a granite countertop. We got a great value on that. So we just added that, kept the existing cabinets because they were in good working condition. We still are in process of probably going to replace the stove and the fridge and the washer and dryer because they aren't in full working condition, and we want to go ahead and replace those while we're doing this process, doing the burr model. We did replace the microwave here, went with a stainless steel basic microwave. So now we're gonna go on upstairs, see what we've done there, see how we've turned that around, and kind of see where the tenants will be living. So I got two quick things to say about the stairs. As I mentioned before, and Devin will pop up a video or a picture here of the previous stairs. They were super gross carpet that had not been replaced in years and years. So it was dark and dirty and stained. And actually a lot of the stairs were broken. So one thing we had to do was completely rebuild all of the stairs. We put new ones in. So they look fantastic when we got them in. I was working with my contractor. I gave him the authority and I said, hey, go pick out some paint for us. And so he sends me a picture of the can. I look at it, don't read too closely on the actual color of the paint until the next day when the entire staircase is painted a beautiful aqua blue. So as you can see, probably in this picture right here, this does not look good. I'm not a fan of this, and I was honestly, my stomach kind of dropped when I saw that. So I called him immediately and I said, hey, we've got to change this paint. So I went out the next day, I picked out some paint. We went with this gray that kind of matches the floors that we have here. So I think it looks a lot better. It turned out very, very nice. And to my surprise, he actually didn't charge me to repaint the stairs, even though I will take full blame for letting him pick out the paint and not for fully vetting that. So that's something I've really learned along the process, is to take full responsibility for each step along the process. And when you delegate something to your contractor, just be aware of the types of things that they're going to pick out, whether it's the finishes, whether it's color or paint. That's going to be a huge thing, and that's something I'm going to continue to work on throughout my journey in the real estate world, is to really figure out exactly which things I should be delegating, and then building trust in those team members that I'm working with. So up here, again, same thing. We did a full refinish of everything. We painted all of the walls, we painted all of the baseboards, we painted all of the ceilings. A lot of the doors were actually busted and broken, so we replaced all of these with pre-hung doors. Replaced all of the hinges. We went with just a polished satin color on that, just to have some uniformity throughout the property. And again, we just went with a simple white up here to make it very seamless and very simple. In the bathroom here, again, we went with the same floors throughout. We debated on going with a tile or not, but from a couple recommendations through some mentors, we decided just to stick with this floor. It's supposed to be waterproof. We'll find out if it actually is. And so in here, we were actually gonna rip out this tub, replace it with a shower. But then I actually watched one of Devin's videos, and in his video, he talked about how in rentals, you actually want a tub because most families are gonna be renting from you. So that's something I didn't think about, and I'm thankful that I watched this video and didn't rip out this tub and put a new shower, because one, it would really limit my tenant pool, and two, it would have been a huge expense just to rip that out for no necessary reason. So we pretty much just changed the fixtures in here. We cleaned the tub up real good, put some new caulk around it to make sure it's sealed really well. We replaced this with a brand new vanity. The vanity was actually broken. It was mold all in there, so we had to get all that fixed. We also put a new mirror, new light fixtures in here, and we added a new LED light. And that's one thing too that we have added throughout the property, is brand new LED lights. So that's something that's going to be a huge benefit for our tenants and for us as well. So less maintenance, because there's no light bulb to change. They don't have to go up there and take the bulb off and potentially break the bulb. And again, it lowers the actual bills that they're going to be paying throughout their time here. So that's one thing that we wanted to add to the property to make it very simple, streamlined, and less likely to have issues coming up. Also, we just went with a standard tub from Home Depot. Went with a high efficiency tub to make sure that no issues, no leaking toilets throughout the night, as everyone always worries about toilets being a huge issue. Just want to go ahead and knock that out ahead of time. And while I'm thinking about that, actually, that brings me to a good point. When I first bought the property, in the foyer, there was a giant puddle when we walked in and we were touring the house, and we couldn't figure out exactly what was going on. There was some trash that was there, and so we thought perhaps they were cleaning up and they put some wet towels in there and that leaked through the trash bags. Well, come to find out, about a week ago, into our renovation, we were doing some work on the toilet and in the shower, and my contractor turned on the water, and when he did that, the water started gushing from the ceiling in the foyer. So we had to rip out pretty much all the plumbing underneath in the wall in the foyer and replace the plumbing because the pipes, this place was vacant for about 2 years. So the pipes had frozen, they weren't properly winterized. And so that was another expense we didn't anticipate, ripping out the wall, ripping out the plumbing and fixing that. So, lesson learned, there's always gonna be things that are gonna come up. Factor that into your contingency budget and just know stuff's gonna come up. So be prepared for that. I know my next renovation project, I'm definitely gonna have a little bit of money set aside for those type of issues that are gonna come up. So now we'll quickly go through the bedrooms, show you what we've done in there, and then we can go check out the basement and then maybe a little view of the backyard. So this is a 3-bedroom, 1.5 property, and it has great space, tons of room in each bedroom. The closets are all very large and it has lots of natural light coming in. Decent sized backyard here all throughout the property. So good room for either a couple of roommates or if a small family wants to live here. And then all of the closets were actually broken as well. So we didn't end up replacing these, which they're a lot more expensive than I anticipated. So my contractor worked to make sure to fix all of the tracks that these are on and fix the doors, painted and primed them. So that saved me about $600 or $700 just not replacing the closet doors for each bedroom. All right, so here we are down in the basement, the last part of the house, and probably one of the biggest parts, the biggest headaches, certainly the biggest issues in my wallet for this project. So as you can see, it's great space down here, plenty of height, plenty of headroom. A lot of the homes on this block that have actually been flipped, they fully finished this basement, but since it's going to be a rental, was not in our budget to fully fix that up. So the HVAC and the water heater were in good condition. We didn't have to do anything to those, thankfully. But in here, some of the biggest issues we had was we had to repaint all of the beams, and so we had to hand paint and hand sand all of these, the joists in here, because there was the potential for lead paint. So we had to cover that up in order to get approved for our lead certification, as well as one of the biggest things we did was to try to waterproof the basement. So in theory, we were going to use a cement to go around all of the walls and to seal them because there was like an old stone. This is a 1914 house, and so there's a lot of issues with leaks when it rains. And as you can see, there actually still are leaks. So we haven't fully fixed the problem. And when I came down here 2 days ago after a great rain, I was pretty upset, and my stomach honestly dropped because we'd spent a lot of time and money trying to fix this basement, and then there's still a lot of water coming in. So still up in the air what we're actually going to do down here. I'm not 100% sure. I had a waterproofing crew come out today, take a look at it, and we're going to speak tonight, figure out what the deal is. We've talked about putting a French drain down here. Again, another expense we didn't think about. Not a great ROI on that, but if it's necessary, hopefully it's not, you got to do it. So we're just trying to figure out, get this done as quickly as possible in a manner that, it's a really good product. We don't want our tenants to have a basement that's going to be leaking all the time. Definitely a liability problem, so we want to make sure it's a good livable condition for these people, even though they're not going to actually have a bedroom down here. They will have the washer and dryer down here. We're going to have those replaced at the end of this week, putting new washer and dryer for the tenants. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a good space down here. If we end up flipping this home down the road, we might consider turning this into a bedroom, adding a bath down here, but certainly for the time, we're not going to waste any money on that.
All right, guys, so that is it. This is the, what is this, your first property, Tyler?
Very first property.
All right, first property, and a burst strategy property at that. So we'll definitely go into another video with the numbers on this property because I'm absolutely interested. For those of you guys who don't know, a burst strategy allows him to practically get this property for free, or at least at extremely high ROI. Is that correct?
Yeah, in theory, yeah.
All right, well, we'll see if he managed to do it from his first property. It's definitely a very effective method. I'm looking forward to it. And let us know if you guys have any questions. We're actually going to do another video with also your second property, which he also bought this year.
Yeah.
It was a live-in flip.
Live-in flip's gonna be the next property. So yeah, my goal was actually buy a rental property before I bought a home, and that happened. And then a month later, got another live-in flip under contract. So we'll be doing that in the next video.
There you go. Man's ambitious. He's moving fast. I gotta try to keep up and stay ahead. So I'll see you guys soon, and we will get into the numbers in a future video and that live and flip property. And looking forward to talking to you all in another video.